Yes, indeed. B Marsh Boxing back at it with another controversial decisions. You know what I mean? This another controversial decisions. You can check out my playlist here on YouTube. Just go to my channel, go to the playlist, and you shall see it. Got over 20 fights of controversial decisions. But this particular fight, we about to go back to 1983, you know what I mean? And this is a fight between Larry Holmes, as you can see there in the tail of the tape, versus Tim Witherspoon, you know what I mean? Tim Witherspoon from South Philadelphia, Larry Holmes from Eastern Pennsylvania, you know what I mean? So this is an all Pennsylvania battle, you know what I'm saying? And Larry Holmes being the WBC champ coming into this fight, he was what, 42 wins, 30 knockouts, and Tim Witherspoon was he 15 and 0 with 11 KOs. You know what I mean? And he had just come off of beating who did he fight it before? Who was it? Ronaldo Snipes. He fought Ronaldo Snipes before he came into this fight. And coming into this fight, like I said, 15 and 0, you know what I mean? Going against a man who's 42 and 0 with 30 KOs, you know what I mean? This is even Larry Holmes' 15th title defense, you know what I'm saying? So this man got as many title defenses as Tim Witherspoon has fights, you know what I mean? So obviously, man, Tim Witherspoon being the younger fighter, man, he's got a lot ahead of him, you know what I mean, coming into this fight with Larry Holmes. And you know, this fight is this is one of actually the best fights I've ever seen, in my opinion, at heavyweight, you know what I mean? That the man Larry Holmes, say what you want about him, but you know, to me, he's been involved in some of the greatest fights I've seen at heavyweight, you know what I mean? That fight with Ken Norton, you know, when he got that WBC title, man, that fight is epic, man. That's a nail biter, you know what I mean? So Larry Holmes and Tim Witherspoon, man, and Tim Witherspoon came to fight, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, Larry Holmes' 15th title defense, you know what I mean? After beating guys like, you know, Ozzy Ocasio, Mike Weaver, Ernie Shavers, of course, Ken Norton when he won the title. You know what I'm saying? He even beat Muhammad Ali, Trevor Berbick, the last guy to beat Muhammad Ali, Leon Spinks, Ronaldo Snipes, Jerry Cooney. He had fought a lot of guys in that 15 title defenses up until this point, you know what I mean? So, you know, the man Tim Witherspoon, he knew coming into this fight, man, he got to put it all on the line. And, you know what I'm saying? Sure enough, he did, you know? But let's get into it, man. In the first round, the man Tim Witherspoon, as you can see, showing good defense, you know what I mean, using his jab. He's actually using a technique called the jab slip, you know what I'm saying, where he's slipping punches but still throwing his jab. The man's even throwing body shots, you know what I mean? And Larry Holmes is also throwing his jab, but he's not landing anything of significance, you know what I'm saying? You check it out. Larry Holmes, they're more flat-footed at the moment, you know what I mean? But it's just a battle of the jabs in round one. But round one, I gave round one to Tim Witherspoon. You know what I'm saying? And round two, round one just ended, as you can see. The man Tim Witherspoon coming into this fight, and even throughout the whole fight, man, he had his swag right, you know what I mean? This guy was confident. You know, the guy was fighting a defensively responsible fight, you know, but he was still composed in there, you know what I mean? There was no moment in this particular fight where there was any signs of the man Tim Witherspoon panicking, you know what I'm saying? And you know, this guy was you know, this guy's a good fighter, you know what I mean? I believe this guy, he was also one of the fighters who used to train with Muhammad Ali, was a sparring partner of Muhammad Ali, just like what's his name was, Larry Holmes was, you know what I'm saying? So no wonder these two guys have excellent jabs, as you can see. But round two, the man Larry Holmes is jabbing, you know what I mean? The man Tim Witherspoon throws a couple body shots. And, you know, the man Tim Witherspoon, before that, at the end of the round, he lands a lead right hand, you know what I'm saying? Comes out of nowhere, you know? The man Larry Holmes was kind of putting it on him in round two, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? You know, and with that being said, the man Tim Witherspoon took a couple steps back, kind of like he's on retreat mode from, Larry Holmes being the busier fighter, you know what I mean, the more volume puncher in this particular round. But then he stepped back a couple steps, then came up with one step forward, you know what I'm saying, and threw a lead right hand that caught the man Larry Holmes flush. You know what I'm saying? So that was a nice technique used by the man Tim Witherspoon. Round was in round three. Round three, I gave both guys were jabbing. You know what I'm saying? Tim's throwing body shots and lead right hands that the man Larry Holmes was walking into. You know what I'm saying? And the man Tim Witherspoon, keeps that defense tight. You know what I mean? That's one thing about Tim Witherspoon. He's actually one of the better defensive fighters I've seen. You could tell this guy was a guy who probably studied a lot of old school tape. You know what I mean? Because the guy, as you can see, his kind of defense is kind of like a cross between Ken Norton, Ray Robinson, and Archie Moore. You know what I'm saying? You see how the man is kind of like a Philly shell, and also like what you call it, that cross arm defense that the man Ken Norton used to use. But what's his name, Ray Robinson? You see how he keeps his right hand protecting the left side of his jaw. As you can see, you see how Tim Witherspoon keeps his right guard up and it's protecting the right side, you know what I'm saying? So those punches that Larry Holmes is throwing, they can't get in, you know what I'm saying? And actually his forearm and wrist protect, they protected the right side of his jaw, you know what I mean? So that's where the cross arm, it's like a hybrid, you know what I mean? That's where the cross arm defense comes at on the right side, you know what I'm saying, when the man can cover up with his wrist and his forearms. But on the left side, he got that right hand planted right there, you know what I'm saying? It's different how other fellas, they keep the right hand like a telephone, you know what I'm saying, on the right side of the face, you know what I mean? Keep it at all times up. Nah, Tim Witherspoon got his right hand on the left side of his jaw. You know what I mean? So that right hand could protect. Man, this guy was a defensive technician, dogs. I'm trying to tell you, man. You know what I'm saying? This guy kept that tight defense, man. I ain't gonna lie. Look at that right hand that the man Larry Holmes caught him with. If I was a heavyweight, I'd want him as my trainer. You know what I mean? Because and the upper body movement too. Not so much head movement, bob and weave like Mike Tyson. But the upper body movement. Lot of motion movement from the upper body, like Ken Norton. Who's that there? I think that's Mike Weaver. Yeah, that's Mike Weaver right there. You know what I'm saying? He had just fought the man, what's his name? Michael Dokes for the WBA version of the title in a controversial fight. You know what I'm saying? But I think that was round 3 we just witnessed. You know what I mean? Like I said, I gave that particular round to Larry Holmes, you know what I mean? Both were jabbing, you know what I'm saying? But the man Larry Holmes, I thought he landed the more significant shots, you know what I mean? So after then I'm in round 4. This is round 3 actually. And that's the round that I said round 3, I gave it to Tim Witherspoon, you know what I mean? You check it. I thought Tim Witherspoon, he landed the more significant shots, you know what I'm saying? He was throwing the jab. It was a close round, but I think he particularly won that particular round, you know what I mean? And this is a close fight. But round 4, the man I got Larry Holmes was jabbing, you know what I'm saying? And he was the busier fighter in there. You check it. Let me try to fast forward to round 4 a little bit. You know what I mean? The man Larry Holmes, was jabbing and was the busier fighter in there, you know what I'm saying? And in that particular round 4, the jabs are landing more frequent, you know what I mean? The man Tim Witherspoon, he's using his the slip jab motion, you know what I'm saying? But he wasn't really throwing no right hands, you know what I mean? And fast forward to round 4. Yeah, he wasn't throwing no right hands really in round 4, you know what I mean? So that particular round, I had to give it to Larry Holmes. So after 4 rounds, I got it 2-2. You know what I mean? I gave Tim Witherspoon round one, Larry Holmes round two, Tim Witherspoon round three, Larry Holmes round four. You know what I mean? Round five was a close round. You know what I'm saying? Um, I like a four-punch combination that the man Larry Holmes threw. You know what I mean? He threw a 1-2 followed by a left hook and a flush right hand. 3 of the 4 punches landed at a 74% connect ratio. You know what I mean? So that's how he started off round five. You know what I mean? But Tim Witherspoon was landing some sneaky right overhand rights. You know what I'm saying? And there was some inside fighting in that particular round for the first time all fight. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, these two guys are more outside boxers. You know what I'm saying? They more out boxers, and they more masters of gauging distance. You know what I mean? So they could throw that jab. You check it. You see Muhammad Ali there. A guy who knows these two guys. Personally, like I said, both these guys were sparring partners at one point in time. And Muhammad Ali picked Larry Holmes to win this fight, 10th round KO or by decision. And what was different about this fight, was for this being a world title fight, it only went, it was a 12-rounder, you know what I mean? You check it, it was a 12-rounder rather than a 15-rounder. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen this fight. It's been a while, but when I was prepared to score it, I was prepared to score it for a 15-rounder. As you saw right there, that man Larry Holmes kind of landed a right hand right there that had the man, Tim Witherspoon's eye twitching. You know what I mean? I want you guys to see this punch combination, this 4-punch combination from the man Larry Holmes. I believe it's in this round right there. Yeah, you see right there. You check it. It was a nice punch combination. It was pretty quick, you know what I mean? So round five, I gave that round to I gave it to the man Larry Holmes, you know what I mean? Larry Holmes, I thought was a busier fighter in there. And now the jabs, rather than not that he would just flick out the jab, of course. He has one of the best jabs in heavyweight history, if not the best, But, before it wasn't really landing like that because this guy right here got great defense, you know what I'm saying? But in round five, that jab was landing, you know what I'm saying? And round six, the man Larry Holmes is jabbing, you know what I mean, using his lateral movement. Tim Witherspoon's also jabbing and slipping punches. You know what I'm saying? But the man Larry Holmes is the busier fighter in there, you know what I mean? And the man Tim Witherspoon lands some nice body shots, you check it. But that was also a close round right there, which I gave round six. I gave that one to Larry Holmes, you know what I mean? Round seven was a close round. Both guys were slugging, you know what I mean? Tim was, this was round seven was a fight of around the two halves, you know what I mean? Both guys were the man Tim Witherspoon was winning the first half and Larry won the second half, you know what I mean? There was inside fighting in this particular round, and in my opinion that favored the man Tim Witherspoon more, you know what I'm saying? Because he's more, the compact fighter, you know what I'm saying? He was letting his hands go on the clinches and on the inside in round seven. You know what I mean? But Larry was landing more right hands. He was landing more right hands, but that kind of pace on the inside favored the man, what's his name? It favored the man, Tim Witherspoon. You check it. But the man Larry Holmes was also landing some nice shots in there. You check it. But it was a close round, you know what I mean? I could see how the judges, that particular round could have gone either way. Although I gave it to Larry Holmes, I can see how a judge would have it for the man Tim Witherspoon, because round seven was a close round, you know what I mean? The man Tim Witherspoon, them kind of fights are actually the hardest fights to score when the fight is on the inside, a phone booth fight. But you see this round they slugging, you know. They wasn't on that boxing on the outside shit no more. These guys are throwing one punch type of bombs trying to get the opponent out of there, you know what I mean? You check it. You see how these guys they it's a phone booth fight. You see these right hands, you know what I mean? But that's how you know in this particular fight which right hands or left hooks land flush, you know what I mean? Because you know, not that these neither of these guys was KO artists like Ernie Shavers or Mike Tyson, you know what I'm saying? But you know, these guys were slipping punches, you know what I mean? You see, that's a flush 1-2 right there, you know what I'm saying? But this is in round 7, and round 7 was a very close round, you know what I mean? Because they both landing. It's a tit for tat game. Uppercut, Larry Holmes. Blocked right hand, right hook. A left hook, a right hook by Larry Holmes. Yeah. This is a good round right here. I believe this might have even been round 9 if I ain't mistaken. Nah, this is actually round 9. I ain't even get to round 8 yet. I might have to rewind that bit right there, man, because round 9, let me see. Oh, this is round 7. All right, let me get into it. I think that was probably round 7, yeah, because round 8 was excuse me, round 9. I'll get to round 9 in a minute, man. You just hold tight. So where we at, man? This is round 8. The man Tim Witherspoon, man, his defense, man, was something to marvel about, to be honest, you know what I mean? This guy's defense was on point. But round 8, I believe I gave that one to I believe I gave round 8, let me check my scorecard. Round 8, I gave it to Tim Witherspoon, you know what I mean? I gave round 8 to Tim Witherspoon. Tim was walking Larry Holmes down, you know what I'm saying? He was slipping punches with the slip jab and sneaky overhand rights, you know what I mean? But let's get into round 9, because round 9 was Luis Ortiz, was Tim Witherspoon's moment, like how Luis Ortiz had what's his name, Deontay Wilder in round 7, you know what I mean? You know, I didn't watch this fight live, you know what I'm saying? 1983, you know, but man, round 9 was like, man, round 9 was war, you know what I'm saying? Round 9, if you was watching this back when, you probably thought you would have seen the heavyweight championship slip away from the man Larry Holmes, you know what I mean? You know, the man Tim Witherspoon, he gets Larry on the ropes. He catches him with a kind of 1-2, a kind of leading right hand, you know what I mean? I don't even know if the jab connected. And then he gets Larry on the ropes, and he goes to the body, and then he catches him with a flush right hand, you know what I'm saying? And the man, Larry Holmes, kept a poker face, but in reality, the man was hurt, and he was out on his feet, you know what I mean? He kept a vicious poker face, but when I seen that punch, you know, this is heavyweight boxing, man. There's only so long you can take punches like that, you know what I mean? A flush right hand like that, it's, you know, you can only take too many of those, you know what I'm saying? You might take a couple in the beginning, but as the rounds wear down, you're gonna be in significant danger. You check it. And that round 9, like I said, you know, Tim Witherspoon, man, he almost got him out of there, you know what I mean? Tim caught him with some flush right hands, some vicious left hooks. You check it, but the same way how Deontay Wilder was putting it on Ortiz, then Ortiz caught him with that right hook that changed that whole round, you know what I'm saying? You got to see round 9 for yourselves right here. You check it. You know, this was a vicious round right here, you know what I mean? Larry Holmes did catch him with a right hook to stop the onslaught, you know what I'm saying? But this was a big Tim Witherspoon round. You know what I mean? This was, some people could even have this as a 10-8 round. You check it. You see the man is walking him down. There goes a right hook. I think the right hand's coming. You see the body shots? That right hook right there, that right hand. And the man is hurt. Another one. You see, he's hurt, man. He's hurt bad. Left hooks, flush right hand. An onslaught. This is Larry Holmes, the heavyweight champion of the world, the Lineal champion. He's holding, he's clinching, as you're supposed to do, just like Deontay Wilder did versus Ortiz. That's a survival tactic. I heard a hangout the other day where somebody was actually trying to compare clinching to low blows. When Adonis Stevenson was clinching in the 12th round because he was hurt bad by Badou Jack. Probably Badou Jack could have got him out of there. What did Stevenson do? He clinched, and somebody was actually trying to say that's clinching is as egregious as low blows. But anyways, that's what you're supposed to do. But Larry, you see this guy putting it on him, man. You see all these right hands and left hooks, but the guy Larry Holmes is a warrior. At least he throws a couple in there. You know what I'm saying? But he's getting caught, man. The crowd was going, there goes the right hook that caught the man, Tim Witherspoon. He heard him. You know what I'm saying? He heard him. But he's still throwing back, man, just off of instinct. This is one of the best heavyweight fights I've ever seen. I'm not going to lie, man. This is what heavyweight boxing's all about. This is the type of shit I like. Even if it goes to decision, I don't want to see no boring shit, man. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, especially casuals and hardcores, when it comes to heavyweight boxing, man, we expect a knockout. That's what the game's all about, you know what I mean? When it comes to heavyweight boxing. Yeah, this round 9 was, man, those left and right hooks that the man absorbed. But Larry fought back, you know what I mean? Even though he got caught, he was out on his feet. The crowd stood on their feet to see this onslaught, you know what I mean? But Larry's still fighting with the heart of a champion. This is where I thought Tim Witherspoon didn't have the killer instinct. Look at that, a whole 7 seconds amassed, and he didn't even throw a single punch, I think a fighter like Deontay Wilder would have tried to get him out of there, Kind of like even how AJ had Vlad in that 11th round. When he hurt him with that uppercut, he went in for the kill and stopped the fight, you know what I mean? But round 9, like I said, was Tim Witherspoon's round 7 compared to how Ortiz had the man Deontay Wilder, you know what I mean? All right, let me speed this up, man. I've been going on longer than I had expected, you know what I'm saying? Round 10, Larry gets on he's throwing his jab, and he's on his lateral movement, and he's now fighting on his toes for the first time all fight, you know what I mean? But the man, Tim Witherspoon, Larry's beating him in that particular round, but before the round ends, Tim Witherspoon switches stances and catches Larry. Look at that right hook that hurt the man's onslaught. You see this, man? But anyways, round 10, Tim Witherspoon switches his stances at the end of the round, you know what I'm saying, and landed some nice fancy right hands, you know what I mean, and left hands. Okay, round 11, Tim was aggressive but defensively responsible. You know what I mean? Throwing right hands, left hooks, and he caught the man Larry Holmes with a right hook over the left hook on the ear. That kind of hurt the man Larry Holmes, you know what I mean? And Larry Holmes was exhausted in round 11 and 12. He couldn't even keep his mouthpiece in his mouth, you know what I mean? But B-Marsh Boxing, man, let me tell y'all how I had this scorecard. My camera about to run out. I had this fight a draw, you know what I'm saying? The judges had it 115, 113, 115, 114, and 118 to 111 in favor of Larry Holmes. I thought this fight was a draw. Classic fight.